It is week number 10 of the LHSA football season, and we are finally in the regular season finale of this year. It's been a really good year. We thank you for all the support of the Hash It Out Show and the Hash It Out Show game of the week. This Friday night, the District 10 2A title is on the line between the South Plaquemines Hurricanes and the Isidore Newman Greenies. We're here with the head coach of the South Plaquemines Hurricanes and three-time state champion Lyle Fitte. What's going on, Coach?
No much, man. How you doing, big brother?
I'm good. I'm good, man. It's good to take the time out to join us this morning and everything. And I tell you, man, your team has been kind of been on the repeat performance
Mhm.
than what they did last year, despite the team being very young. What are your thoughts on so far on how your team has just been stepping out outstanding this year, and especially whatever the growing pains you went through throughout the season so far?
Yeah, after last year, losing the great seniors that we had on the team, on the state championship team, you know, you know, everybody was expecting us to, definitely take a step back. I do commend, this team, these set of seniors, of answering the bell and, going to work. I think if anybody would have said we was going to be 7-1 going into week 10, I think everybody money would have been on the opposite end. So I think these kids, currently has exceeded expectations, and I think we still. It's crazy to say we still trying to truly find our identity. Like I'm, and I try and push this team to start faster and stuff like that. But every single year, especially when you're at a small school and you lose 10 seniors, the team is going to be different. The identity, the vibe of the team is going to be different. This team, like I tell them, I said, but we got to start faster. So this team, you know, does a great job with resilience, showing their resiliency. um they you know it's a special group, and I truly appreciate watching these kids grow and watch the younger kids as well, grow as the season has been going on, and actually accepting responsibility and just continuously getting better.
I definitely understand that. Last week, coming off a victory against Cohen, you mentioned kind of a slow start, but you guys really got things going and got a win against a very competitive Cohen team, and now you got some momentum going to the district championship, and you're hosting this one this time.
hmm Yeah, I mean, it's funny how 365 days later, we back in the same predicament. Facing Newman for the district championship, and I appreciate them last year. They really tested us before we entered the playoffs. They allowed us to see what we needed to continue to improve on. Our kids was battle tested. They had to fight back in the second half, and all of that stuff, man, played dividends when we, seen a couple teams in the postseason. So I'm expecting nothing short of a great game, a competitive game. Duman is very well coached. They have some great athletes over there, some D1 athletes on their side of the ball. But I'm just at the end of the day, like I tell all the kids, from here on out, everything got to come through South Plaquemines. And from week 10 on, we're competing for championships. So, not looking ahead, we taking it, game by game, but, we got to be ready for everybody best shot because we've been getting everybody best shot this year. It's just different when won a championship. It's different. When you when you are the reigning state champions, you're going to get everybody's you know coaches are going to prepare better, players are going to prepare better. They want to say, hey, look, they were the ones to beat South Plaque, and so we got to understand that, and our approach to it has to be different.
Very much understandable. Oh man, uh, you look at the coaching matchup. You go against Coach Vice. Coach Vice has been experienced coach for a long time, and now he's stepping to a very good program. Interesting transition from Nelson Stewart to Coach Vice. How it's been this week with the preparation and everything, knowing that Coach Vice is sometimes you can say unpredictable with game plans.
Yes, they do a variety of things, especially offensively. Um, so you just kind of want to make sure you're sound, and you don't want to, put too much on the kids' plate where they playing slow. At the biggest thing, man, I want our kids to be able to communicate, get the call in. We have to be disciplined. And at this time of the year, you have to get off the field on third down. So, this week has been, emphasizing, getting off the field on third downs, and getting the ball back to our offense where we can control the ball, control the clock, and do what we do. So uh, Coach Vice is, his coaching style is different than Coach Stewart's. He made a change early in the year where he put his, D1 running back at quarterback, and I think that has helped the Greenies tremendously. Uh, but again, they still have at least at every single skill position, and they're pretty big up front. So um, I don't believe their numbers is as big as they once were for as team size, but we have a small team as well. So, again, it always comes down to special teams, turnovers, and again for us, like I said, we got to get up the field on third down.
Your team sets the tone more than anything else offensively with Rod Parker, who has been a starter for a very long time at South Plaquemines. Now, I believe he's a senior this year, if I have that right. But
Right.
tell us about a couple, like two more offensive players and 2 to 3 defensive players that really steps out. I know it's mostly two-way superstars, but
hmm
tell us about a couple of those players that's been stepping up this year for the Hurricanes of South Plaquemines.
Well, definitely offensively, which is shocking, is our eighth grader Ian Taylor. He has over double digit touchdowns this year. Um, One of our better athletes, had some kind of illness where he couldn't play this year. We was looking for a big year out of Ramonte Jackson, but he couldn't play. He should be back for the playoffs, maybe even this week. But Ian Taylor, kind of stepped into that role, and he has gotten better throughout the whole year. So he has been our punt returner, our kick returner, and he leads the team in receiving touchdowns and rushing touchdowns. And that's a lot to ask out of an eighth grader, And so I'm kind of hard on him, coaching on him, but you still got to understand, man. I mean, he's still only in eighth grade, so um, you know he has played tremendously, and he has definitely made a difference. Um, Also, one of our two-way players is Josh Bartholomew. Josh Bartholomew has been making plays at that running back position. He made a couple plays at receiver last week as well, and he has been one of the captains on the offensive and defensive side of the ball. So, we got to find ways just to kind of get him the ball. Uh, but he's a hell of a player, man, and so we're gonna lean on him not only Friday, but definitely in the playoffs. Another one of our guys, definitely on the defensive side, but he plays on the offensive line, is Hilary Thomas. Hilary Thomas goes both ways. He plays on special teams as well. And we're gonna need him to, make a difference up front, and control that offensive line uh, from getting to our linebackers. He's probably our best pass rusher as well. But he does a great job for us. He was limited in a couple games where, he was fighting a little injury bug, but he's back to being 100%. So I'm excited for him and ready to, you know, ready for the rest of the season to play out. And then last but not least is another senior is Dean Ankelard. Dean is our scatterboo. They be making fun of him, but he's a little bowling ball. But man, he brings the tenacity to the team. He walks with a confidence and a swagger that you want your kids to play with. So we're gonna need him, to to lead us as well. So we have a big drop off between classes. So like we have a large senior class, and then most of our kids are eighth graders. So I mean, we do have a few little juniors here and there sprinkled in, but our two biggest classes is seniors and eighth graders. So we definitely always ask a lot of our seniors. Most of the time, you know, coming towards the playoffs, they're our 48-minute warriors. That's what I call them because they can't come off the field. They have to play on all special teams because special teams you don't have a redo, and the margin of error is so slim. You don't want nobody to take a play off because that might be the game. So we definitely need them to lock in and you know and but they're ready for it. They're conditioned for it. We've been in the weight room, we've been conditioning, and I'm excited to see what these guys have in store for the rest of the season.
Well, taking a look at the team, man. I mean, that's a. I'll tell you one thing. Probably same amount on the roster, but in continue to increase each and every year. About you at least have about over 40.
Hmm.
Soon maybe 50, because the fact of the matter is that you got eighth graders, and that's a really good thing. That spells a great future for
Yeah.
South Plaquemines in itself. And it seems like the development of the youth programs and stuff like that out in Plaquemines Parish, and they're starting to come over to your school more than anything else. And they do have two choices: they go to Bell Chase or they come to South Plaque, and a good bit of them are starting to come your way.
Yeah, I mean, we're not a select school, so I mean, the kids really don't have a choice in our parish. They have to be actually in our zone, and so we got to just use what we got. And like I tell our kids, kids not gonna fall out the sky and come to our school. So what you see is what you get. I said, and when people say, "Hey, look, give me a depth chart or tell me what position these kids play," all our kids are athletes. Because you might be playing a skill position today, and then you might be on the offensive line, D line tomorrow. And it just depends on, you know, I guess the size of the kids and where you at. So, but like I said, man, our kids just play football, man. I'm glad that they love it. Uh, they and we ask a lot of them, man. They spend a lot of time in the preparation, to be in this position. It's hard to be number one in football in any class in the state of Louisiana because football is rich in Louisiana. They have a lot of great talent, great coaches in the state. And if you look at our Division 4 bracket, man, they got so many teams that only have one or two losses. I mean, and most of them losses come to teams that's bigger than them, and so they might have about 8, 9 teams that could actually win state this year in Division 4. So, it's all about who's going, fight that injury bug, stay healthy, who's going to be, getting hot at the right time. And at the end of the day, like I said, for us, it's always discipline, communication, blocking and tackling, and whoever does the best at that, that's who's going to win the game.
Straight gauntlet in itself. That's what you call it, coach. It's definitely going to be looking like a gauntlet this year in Division 4. And at the same time, this is real football, ladies and gentlemen. Not knocking everybody else. This is Iron Man football, Class 1A. So it is definitely all out war with this classification. Expecting a huge crowd Friday. We know that Newman travels a lot. At the same time, man, I know your fans are going to be into it. It should be a great atmosphere Friday night, right, Coach?
Oh, no doubt. I mean, I think you're gonna have a couple, different media, you know, uh, personnel that's going to be at the game covering the game. I believe we have one of the few games in the metro area that's actually contending for actual district championship. So I expect a lot of people to cover us. And again, Newman, has always been competitive. I know they'll probably be hosting a first round, home game in the Division 3 select playoffs. And I mean, shoot, for us, like I said, expectations couldn't be any higher. I mean, you can't go lower. Once you don't win a state championship, the expectation for everybody is to win state. And I keep telling people it's not as easy as you think it is. The work still has to be put in. And nothing will be given to us. And again, it's always harder the second time around because people done seen the blueprint. People, have been preparing for us all year, and I already know that. So, and the kids know that. Um, so we just got to answer the bell, and we got to make sure we do our best each and every day to put ourselves in the best position to repeat.
Huge opportunity Friday for South Plaquemines to clinch a not state, I'm going to say district. Huge chance to clinch their first district championship in a long, long time.
Yeah.
This is gonna be a big one for you guys. The Hash It Out Show game of the week will be Friday night. It will be Isidore Newman. It will be South Plaquemines. It will be at Hurricane Stadium over in Beers, Louisiana. 6:45 is our pregame. 7 o'clock is the kickoff on JB the Sports Guys YouTube. That's JB the Sports Guys YouTube page. Tune into the Hash It Out Show tonight, 7 p.m. We will preview a lot of big time matchups coming up and a lot of Louisiana sports we will talk about. Coach Lyle Fitte of the South Plaquemines Hurricanes, thank you so much for joining us. We definitely appreciate it. We wish you the best going forward and against Newman this Friday night.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I'm looking forward to seeing you, man.